Hey y'all, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I'm back with another live. I am a self love coach who specializes in helping women radically transform their lives through one on one coaching. I am the proof. I have moved to Colombia and I did it with a 6 month plan. Um, I am in the process of also centering my life around travel content. So, if anybody wants help living out their dreams, I am the person to come to. With that said, um, I'm gonna have a really good live tonight, y'all. I'm a little bit tired, so I'm a little bit off. I've been working hard today, y'all. I just left the gym, but we're gonna get through this because I have some things to talk about. Because, baby, the pandemic got everybody acting dusty. Okay. And that goes for women too. Men, women, everybody. Like, we are starting to see some really desperate behavior out here in these streets. And I called this. I don't know how many of y'all have been watching me since I was only doing videos and not live. But I remember a couple years ago, I made a few videos talking about how we are at that time, people were still in denial, but I knew we were in a recession. We've been in a recession, okay? We going into a depression, let's be clear. But the mainstream media hasn't even called the fact that we're in a recession. It's going to get to depression levels before they even admit to us being in a recession. But anyway, I called it. I told y'all people were going to start acting desperate. People were going to start moving funny. People were going to start being money hungry. And when I tell you it's at an all-time high on both ends, and it's pathetic, y'all. Honestly and truly. But I mean, I understand people are in survival mode right now, and people can talk a lot of mess about America, the United States, and say everything is transactional there. But me living in a developing country, see that type of behavior has been the norm. I think in the United States, like, we're so used to having access, we're so used to having money, we're so used to having privilege that we could afford to deal with people that we liked. We could afford to deal with people for love, right? And now everybody's kind of feeling it in their pockets, and now we're starting to see that same type of desperate psychopathic behavior sweep through the United States in mass numbers. And it doesn't help that on both sides we have both men and women pushing this type of leech, mooch, thirsty behavior, because honestly and truly people are tired. Okay, people's finances are funny, everything's tight, people are having to work hard. Inflation has people's money going a lot less further than what it used to go. So honestly and truly, people are just out here trying to do what they have to do, and they don't even see other human beings as people. But it's getting to a point of critical mass, and I just want to mass, and I want to encourage, like, the real ones, stay on your path. Like, stay on your path, but stay sucker free. Understand that people are out here moving funny, they're moving shisty, they're moving shady, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like, it's going to get frustrating, especially when you come across people that's trying to run low level, low IQ game on you. But that's okay. You just got to keep it pushing. Understand there's more where that's coming from, and just, live yours and stay true to you. So we're going to get into it. A couple topics that we're going to talk about tonight. After years and years and years, the St. Lunatics SUE Nelly. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about a woman getting unalived right outside of the courthouse. That she went to court to get a restraining order against this man who had been stalking her. And apparently she had asked for some type of escort out of the courthouse. That man unalived her right outside of the courthouse. That's how crazy it's getting right now. You can't even trust that you are going to be safe on court grounds. And lastly but not least, we're going to talk about how this group of women blasted this man on the internet because they went to dinner and it was his girl's birthday, and he paid for her and not the entire table, and those women proceeded to act a fool. So we're gonna get into it all. Let me light my candle again. As you're coming in, hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure that y'all hop in the comments so that I can keep the live going and flowing. Okay, so first up, we are going to talk about the Saint Lunatics SUE Nelly. So if y'all don't know, Nelly was an artist in the early 2000s. Right now, he's been in the news a lot lately. First, he got into the news because him and Ashanti got back together after that versus. So that was a big deal, especially if you are like born in the 90s or, you know, young, born before then. And y'all know Ashanti and Nelly were a big thing for like over a decade. They were a big couple. He left her, got with another chick. After he broke up with that chick, got back with Nelly, got back with Ashanti, and now Ashanti is pregnant. Matter of fact, she already had the baby. But then he got in the news because he got arrested for having exos, and he got a DUI, I believe, or expired insurance. That's what it was. So y'all already know the music industry is falling. Now, we're seeing the last of the music industry of yesteryear. I don't know what will become of music, to be honest. It's been trashed for quite some time. But we're in this age of Aquarius where things are getting exposed, and that industry that made all this beautiful music that we have all these nostalgic memories to, we're starting to see that behind the scenes there was a lot of corruption and a lot of nastiness that went on just to keep that machine flowing. So it's kind of a spoiled things a bit for us, but I feel like, at the end of the day, we got to keep our eye on the music. I think moving forward, artists should probably focus on building their own platform independently if they can. No, it's not going to make these mega stars like Beyonce and Rihanna like we used to have, but at the very least, they'll probably be able to protect themselves a lot more if they're not signed to a label or if these big record executives are not pulling the strings. But with that said, everybody's getting desperate and they're looking to cash in on things that happened years ago. So, if y'all did not know, Nelly was a part of this group called the Saint Lunatics. They made hits. I mean, at one point, they were a whole era. With that said, it looks like they've decided to go ahead and sue the man for uncredited work that they did for Nelly's album. And we're going to take a look at this, and y'all decide whether or not y'all think they're in the right. I personally feel like even if the money is owed, it should be paid, but I think that this is a rather opportune time. I'm going to share my screen.
The Saint Matthews, I mean the Saint Lunatics is suing Nelly for what it says. It says Saint Lunatics sue Nelly for uncredited contributions to his debut album, Country Grammar. Okay, if y'all new to my channel, make sure that y'all follow me. Make sure that y'all repost this video that so that way anybody who might want to see it can see
Okay, yes, y'all make sure to follow Winter Nikki Smith on TikTok.
it, and make sure y'all heart the video as well. And I do the same thing back to y'all and follow me, and I'll follow y'all back. But y'all, I didn't know Nelly didn't pay them people. Okay, he was buying grills, Air Force Ones, taking care of Shanti and everything, and he did not even pay them. He didn't even look out for his boys. Like I thought they all. That's just messed up. Just let me know what y'all think in the comments about this because I didn't. I just found out that Nelly was being sued by them, or they probably already did sue him. But Nelly got a lot going on already. Nelly already just had like the license in his
Mm-hmm.
name, no insurance, and all that. So it's just too much. And now y'all want to sue? Y'all should have been said something. Y'all should have been said something like I don't understand that, but I assume they didn't get paid for.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's everybody homeboys and everything is all good until people money get dry, you know? Because he probably thought, now here's the thing, this is what I want to say. We're friends, even with friends, at the time that y'all do business, business is business. Now, I have a few homegirls that have their own businesses. So there are a couple things that I can do outside of their regular business practices. For example, I got a homegirl that I'm ordering some candles from. Now, I don't got to order from her website. I just tell her what I want and send her the Cash App, right? But I'm still paying her. I'm still sending her her money. I'm not asking her for a discount. Sometimes my friends will offer a discount, and if they offer a discount, I'm grateful for it, but I don't expect that. But I never expect my friends who have the same 24 hours in a day and have the same kind of bills that I have to pay to do anything for me for free. So off top, that's raggedy behavior off of Nelly. Like, if he really had these people out here working for free. But at the same time, people got to learn to look out for themselves. Like, you cannot be doing all this free work. If you do music, you need to be trying to make money off of your music. Now, a lot of the times what'll happen in a situation like this is people might have a friend that's more popping than them. So they will hop on records with them for free just to get their exposure and get their names out. But honestly and truly, none of them blew up like Nelly did. Now, if they made a calculation, we are going to hop on this track with Nelly just to get the exposure, and we don't expect to get paid, nor are we asking to get paid, well, then that's the calculated risk that they took. And I feel like, you got to learn to take a loss with that. Um, but if he promised them money and never gave it to them, well, then you got to learn how to handle your business in terms of lawyer. And that's the thing. People try to do things off the books, or people try to do things way too ghetto when it's supposed to be business. And we have to stop moving like that. Especially in the African American community, because we really can't afford to move like that. And if somebody doesn't want to be your friend because you're asking them to pay you for your labor, then to me, that's not a real friend, because they don't think that you're really worth anything anyway. Okay, so I'm going to share this tab. This is from allhiphop.com. So they say 4 members of the St. Lunatics sued their longtime friend and collaborator Nelly for copyright infringement and unjust enrichment on Wednesday, September 18th. According to court documents obtained by All Hip Hop, the St. Lunatics said they never received proper credit or payment for their work on Nelly's diamond-selling album, Country Grammar. Billboard was the first to report the lawsuit. Ali, Murphy Lee, Kawan, and City Spud accused Nelly of falsely and fraudulently claiming to be the sole author of multiple tracks he created with the St. Lunatics. The song included Batter Up, Thicky Thick Girl, and Steal the Show from Nelly's debut album, which dropped in 2000. The St. Lunatics claimed Nelly, whose real name is Cornell Haynes, promised they receive rightful compensation for their contributions. Ali, Murphy Lee, Kawan, and City Spud realized Nelly lied to them around 2020. Now, already I don't understand, because how do you realize when did this album drop? When did this drop? Let me look it up. Okay, 2000, that's what it says. How do you realize that you were lied to 20 years later? How does it take 20 years for you to realize that somebody promised you some money and never paid it to you? And then on top of that, there's no paperwork on a promise. So honestly and truly, this is an easy win for Nelly. If they don't have any paperwork or documentation, this is an easy win for him. But you know what started happening around 2020? The demic. Okay. People stopped booking or getting shows. I don't know if they were working anyway by that time, but things started getting a little bit desperate then. So now all of a sudden you realize you didn't get paid. Okay, let's continue. Hi, barbecue with Neil. Okay, kaka. I don't know what that means, but thank you for tuning in, sir. Make sure that you hit that like so people can know that I'm on live. Okay, we here. So, um, despite repeated assurances by defendant Haynes that plaintiffs will receive their writing credit and publishing income for crediting the original compositions, plaintiffs, sometimes in 2020, eventually discovered that defendant Haynes had been lying to them the entire time, and it took them 20 years to realize it. The state lunatics explained plaintiffs eventually discovered that not only did they not receive any credit as authors and or creators of the original compositions, but that defendant Haynes and others took full credit for creating the original compositions contained in the infringing album. Saint Lunatic said Nelly manipulated them. Now, how a grown man manipulate four other grown men out of their money? Okay, let's continue. Let's continue because that's not making sense to me. Um. The group members trusted their friend's word before finding out Nelly denied their claims of authorship in 2021. Again, how was it taking so long? Let me keep reading. Every time plaintiffs confronted defendant Haynes about their publishing credit and income for creating and authoring the original compositions, defendant Haynes would assume them as friends. He would never prevent them from receiving he would assure them as friends, he would never prevent them from receiving the financial success they were entitled to as writers of the original composition, the lawsuit contended. Unfortunately, plaintiffs, reasonably believing that their friend and former band member would never steal credit for writing the original compositions, did not initially pursue any legal remedies and believed defendant Haynes would make good on his promise to ensure plaintiffs received recognition as writers and authors of the original compositions contained in the infringing album and the publishing income from the exploitation of the infringing album. Ali, Murphy Lee, Kawan, and City sought at least 50 million in damages. Them songs probably not even worth 50 million, but okay. The lawsuits named Universal Music Group, BMG Songs, Co-op Music Group, and Hypnosis as Nelly's co-defendant. So they're not just suing Nelly, they're suing the record label. Let me just say this. Let me get off of this. If Nelly really did that to his friends, hey, what's up, skinny boy? Hey, Mariah, did you see Nelly pulling underage girls on stage and serenading them at his concerts? No, I did not see that. When you get the opportunity, you don't have to do it now, but can you send it to me on Instagram? I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but it's Mariah Sincere on Instagram. Thank you. Um, so let me say this. If Nelly really did promise them, if they really wrote, because that's the thing, they're gonna have a hard time proving that they actually composed any of these lyrics. But if they really wrote for him, and if Nelly really did promise that he was going to give them writing credit, thank you, skinny boy, then he's trash as a friend. Let's start there. But the problem is, can they prove it? That's the thing. Can they prove it? Can they prove that they composed any of this music? And can they prove that Nelly promised to pay them or give them writing credits? And honestly and truly, I'm gonna go on the err on the side that they just was doing all of this stuff off of GP. Like they was just doing this stuff based on we friends, we homeboys. Um, this is the problem with a lot of rappers. If you make me a moderator, I can drop it in the chat. How do I make you a moderator? You've asked me that before. Um, hold on. I guess maybe I have to go on my channel and do it. Let me go on my settings, permissions. I've never done this. That's so sad. channel advanced settings. Do you know how to do that, skinny boy? Okay. Hey, what's up, D Malley? I could see them asking for an amount such as 50 million. If they were given credit in the first place, who knows how much additional work they could have gotten. Well, that is true. I see what you're saying. I just feel like they didn't handle their business on the front end. And again, here's the thing about like the way that they're going about it. Since they're waiting so long after, just like 20 years later, I don't understand how you don't realize that somebody's played you until 20 years after the fact. So this is the problem. It's just they have the burden of proving that these promises were made and that they actually did the work. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of does look bad now. It looks like they don't have any money now and they're trying to squeeze money out of somebody who was once their friend. That's what it looks like, especially since they haven't been making noise about this for the past, I guess they said they realized in 2020, well, that album had dropped 20 years prior. They hadn't been saying anything or calling him out on it. So it looks bad. It looks like they're getting desperate because everybody money is funny right now. And again, we don't know what happened. Sorry, didn't mean to derail the show. No, it's okay, skinny boy. I'm gonna have to make you a moderator on the next one. When I get off of here tonight, I will figure out how to do that. Okay, promise. That way we can be ready next time you get on live. But yeah, so I just feel like I don't know. We're gonna have to let this play out in court. But here's the thing: unfortunately, even if Nelly is in the wrong, I feel like this is going to be a hard one to win. Okay, and that's why handle your business even when you're dealing with friends. Okay, the next story I'm gonna talk about is really like it really pissed me off. Now, let me say this. As a woman, I'm always going to have a bias towards women. And honestly and truly, I do feel like relationships do start off unfair between men and women, just off of the fact that we bear the burden of having children. Period. I mean, there's nothing a man can do to balance that out. There's nothing, the fact that when we have these kids, it does a lot of damage to our mental, our hormones, our bodies. There's really nothing that a man could do to make it fair. So, like the whole 50-50, like everybody coming to the relationship equal, no. And the only time it doesn't work out like that is if you get with somebody and y'all just agree that y'all are not going to have kids. But if you get with somebody and y'all expect to have, y'all are having kids together, it's automatically not balanced, right? And depending on the personality of the man and whether or not he feels like he should be doing domestic labor, it could really become unbalanced, right? So I understand women saying, I don't necessarily want to do these 50-50 relationships, because most of the time what it ends up doing is being like lopsided. Now, there are so many other agreements and arrangements between 50-50 and 100-0. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's more nuanced than what the conversation permits. But I honestly feel like, and this is why I'm saying the pandemic, or not, I'm sorry. I didn't want to say that in this video. The recession has people really doing desperate behavior and basically begging now. You acting how you bougie, but you begging. And I don't care what anybody says. People can come on here and call me a pick me or whatever. The fact of the matter is, A, I'm not easy to get with. Let's start there. Second, I live in my own house and I pay my own bills. And third, I don't allow anybody to treat me any kind of way. I ain't staying with a man and begging a man to do right. I don't got nobody I don't have a man running my pockets. I'm not giving a man in money. And I don't mind sleeping alone at night if it ain't me being with the right person or with a man that treats me right. So for the commentary I'm about to give, any woman can come on here and call me a pick me, but I guarantee you, most of the women that's gonna come on here and say this, you are not as hard as me. Like, you are not as real as me, and you're weaker than me, and you gonna fold for the right dude. I'm just keeping it real. So anybody can say what they want to say about me. Bottom line is, I stand on business when it comes to my boundaries, and a lot of y'all be talking like y'all do, but don't. I just like to be fair, and I like to think of things logically. I agree, but if women demanded marriage before having a child, it would force a man to have to step up to being a provider. I mean, it depends on what the man already came with before the marriage, right? And honestly and truly, I'm watching all this stuff of these women, these horror stories of these women who are getting married and having a child later, and it doesn't seem like it's working out any better. So I don't know about that. Like, I think in theory it sounds good. And then sometimes, a lot of times, men get lazy after you start having kids by them. So you just never know. Like, that's one of those situations where all you can do is just try to find a man with the right character. If you know you have kids, try to get married beforehand. But you got to be prepared for somebody to get lazy or switch up on you at any time. I'm always going to recommend that a woman be getting her own, and she don't have the mentality of, I'm going to live off of this man forever. Even if he is saying he's going to pay the bills in the house. Always get your own, ladies. And so, um, let me get on to Instagram. So I saw this video, and there was this man who was at a dinner party in a table full of women, and the bill came, and he decided, hey, I'm only going to pay for the birthday girls. And I have a personal story that I'm going to tell y'all about this, because like I've been in one of these situations before, and it really pissed me off. And I'm not talking about the way the men behave. I'm talking about these women, like, in the entitlement. And I understand a lot of women are watching the Shira 7 content, and I'm not hating on her. She gives a lot of good games. Sometimes I watch the things that she says too, but you got to learn to take everything with the great grain of salt. And honestly and truly, if it's not you, then it's not you. Don't try to force it. Don't be out here trying to be a woman that's just getting to a bag and using men for money. If that's not just you, like, don't go against yourself. Live your own life. But if that's really you, then do you. But a lot of women aren't built for it, and they're trying to be that. And I don't necessarily agree with that. And then I think half of the women who really are on that, they're ratchet. Like, they're ratchet, they're ghetto, and they're dusty. And they want to go around calling men dusty. And again, a lot of women might not like what I'm saying, but real women understand. Real ones know. Like, I don't have to do too much explaining. But I'm gonna show this video. Okay. And y'all tell me what y'all think. Okay. I hope I saved it. No, did I not save it? Here we go. Y'all hear? Oh, okay.
I'm responsible for okay, you're the only man.
Okay, and I know the audio is bad, but this is from Shira. So she put this out here with this audio like that. That's not mine. But basically, the man is telling them, I'm not responsible for all of y'all's tabs. So
We're doing split checks, 2021. Y'all wait. Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. This is my birthday for real. Okay. Like,
so it's a $700 bill. I'm sure they all ate good thinking he was going to pay the bill.
It's $700 for this whole table, and it's my birthday.
This man should have stayed home and gave his woman a credit card and let her have girls' money. But he's looking real dusty right about now.
Okay, so it seems like this isn't even his woman. This is a co-host on the podcast. So this is the friend. So this is a male friend. He not hitting none of these girls, if you know what I mean. He ain't getting none from none of them. They all went out together. I guess he invited everybody out. She's trying to pressure him to pay for the bill. Now I'm hoping that this is fake, but I've seen ratchet behavior like this in real life. Making a man pay for all your homegirls is like saying I need you to hunch all my homeboys. Like, yeah, it's getting to be too much.
If you can't pay for a table full of women, stay home.
So Shira's commenting, if you can't pay for a table full of women, stay home. So this goes back to like women saying, if men don't do financially what they want them to do, then they can't afford it or they're broke. When it might just simply be a matter of, no, I don't want to, because it's the principle of the matter, right? And let's flip it the other way around. If her homegirl had invited, like, say it was her female friend and she had invited a table full of women out, nobody would be expecting to pay the female friend to pay. They would all just assume that they're all coming in and paying for their own dinner. So I don't understand why it's different just because there's a man at the table. And $700, even if you got it, that's not cheap. Like, that's some people's rent. Like, that's not cheap. That's not nothing. That's not like $100 or $200 bill. Like, no matter how much money you have, $700 is still like, oh, okay, that's gonna hit them pockets.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not paying for you.
How embarrassing.
I don't do that. I don't split checks. That's not
Okay, so they're talking about how embarrassing, but do they not realize that that behavior is embarrassing and ghetto? They are in the middle of a nice restaurant yelling they don't split checks. I'd rather have sat there and quietly split that check and go on about my business, even if those women did think it was dusty, or even if they felt like he was broke. That's fine. Why are y'all at a nice establishment conducting yourself in that manner? And even if it was like, let's say, because the internet, you never know, let's say that this was like a stunt, I wouldn't even play like that in public. There's another video of a birthday girl inviting all her homegirls to her birthday dinner and getting mad at her man for not paying for all of them. He said, I'll pay for you, and they went off. And I wouldn't even like, my friends respect me enough, and I love my friends. And it's not even about choosing a man over my friend, but my friends would respect the person who I'm with enough not to even try me like that, you know? But I did have a situation that I'm going to talk to y'all about. Like, and that's what I'm saying. This could be fake, but depending on how ghetto the women are that you're with, because this is ghetto, this is ratchet. Like, they don't understand. They look worse than him at this point. They look broke. They look like they can't pay for their own food. They look like they can't charge it to the game, even if they have all these expectations of men. A real woman that's a real boss and getting her own money gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna charge it to the game, whoop-de-whoop, pay for my meal, and we might talk about him later on the phone. We're not causing a scene at the restaurant.
I'm sorry, you don't get it.
Yeah, so let me tell y'all this story that happened, and this is why I completely understand when men say we're not paying for your homegirls, because a lot of these girls are untitled and ungrateful. So this was maybe 2 or 3 years back. I went on a birthday trip with my homegirls, like and to be honest, like, I don't even talk to these girls anymore. And it started with this trip. And there was so much that went on, but I'm going to stick to the actual dinner. So at this time, I was dating this dude in St. Thomas. And I had another homeboy. Now, my other homeboy, like, they was like, hey, we going to come out, we're going to show love for your birthday. So we went to this nice restaurant in St. Thomas. And both of them, my man and my homeboy, and they're cool too, right? They're like, hey, y'all eat whatever y'all want. Y'all get whatever y'all want. And they were. When I'm telling, it was like 3 of my homegirls. So it was 3 of my homegirls. It was my man, my homeboy, and then their other friend, right? So it was like 6 of us. So they're ordering up whatever they want. mind you, I didn't really know. We didn't really talk about it, how the bill was gonna get split. But honestly and truly, if you ever been around island men, they're gonna pay. Like, period. They're gonna pay. So me, I'm more modest. I get a couple things, but my friends, my homegirls, they were ordering up everything. They got several appetizers. Like, when they said get what y'all want, they was getting what they want. So the bill comes and it's like, it was really over $700. So my man and his homeboy split the bills. The girls didn't even look at the bill. It wasn't even like a conversation. They didn't put us into it. I seen the bill because I was sitting right there. Boom, they paid for it. Now, not one of my homegirls said thank you. None of them said thank you at all. Never order what you can't pay for. Yeah, none of them said thank you. And then one of them got real drunk and she started talking down on the island people, talking about how poor they are, how they keep their yards junky. And if you ever been to St. Thomas, like that, first of all, they don't have all those HOAs. And a lot of the time, St. Thomas and people fix their own cars. So they'll keep cars in their yard or handy stuff in their yard. But one thing about St. Thomas people, they don't do all the flash like we do. Like, they might have a few chains and things like that, but you will meet a dude from St. Thomas that has hella money and hella motion, and he walking around in shorts and flip-flops all day. Like, it's not like the States, right? So she's over there calling these men poor. Mind you, my man got hella motion, and my other homeboy, he's like, if I say he go on St. Thomas and say his name, everybody know this dude. His reputation so solid. He good in every hood. Everybody know this man got money and got motion. And they sitting up here in front of these men who have way more money than them, who just paid a tab for them to eat and made sure they was good and comfortable, and talking about they broke. So obviously I started to say something to my homegirl. I'm like, that's not right. That's disrespectful. Like, they not poor. They just live different over here. Like, I'm talking to her. I'm really pissed. And my man was at the time, he's sitting by me and he's like, man, don't worry about that. We not finna, like, we not tripping. Like, we know we got money. We don't care about nothing she got to say right now. We ain't tripping on that. So they ain't even say nothing to her. They was just like, whatever. They ego wasn't hurt because they knew they had bread. But it was to the point where it was the entitlement and the ungratefulness and the disrespect of it all. And like, from then on, I'm not even gonna lie, like the relationship just between me and them was the same. And we don't even talk anymore. Because I don't rock with that. I'm not with all that. Like, especially since every time I go to that island, people show me mad love. Like, they show me crazy love, but at the same time, I'm very grateful and appreciative, and I don't ask for nothing. So I can't rock with entitled people that feel like somebody's supposed to do something for them just because they're in proximity to them, and you ain't even been treating them right this entire time. You've been looking down on the same people that you expect to do something for you. Right. And that's very much the mentality that these women are given. It's like, you expect this man to do something for you, but you don't even have any respect for him. So why? For what? What do they get out of it? And again, I'm gonna go back to the men, even my homeboy, he wasn't smashing none of those other girls sitting at the table. Like, they were just, y'all eating just off of the strength that y'all my friend. So I don't agree with that type of behavior. It's ghetto, it's low class, it's dusty, and it needs to get called out. Okay, what was my last topic? Oh, okay. I want to talk about this story that was really, really sad. So I was scrolling through Instagram maybe like a week ago, and I saw this story about this girl who got unalived. And basically what happened is, she found out that the man she was with was on the DL. She left him, and not only did she leave him, she put him on blast for being DL all on social media. And then from then on, the man would not leave him alone, and he kept stalking her. So I have a TikTok here on it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here we go.
Oh my God. Have you heard this story?
Tonight at 11, we're hearing
From the family of a woman shot and killed outside of the Spalding County courthouse. And tonight, the daughter of Crystal Evans says her mother did not have to die because she believes law enforcement actually dropped the ball because of a history of domestic violence between her mother and the suspect. 11 Alive, Teresa Bowles, live tonight in the newsroom with what we know tonight. Teresa?
Well, Ron, tonight authorities have identified the suspect as Mr. Tom Mallory. Adding to her pain, Precious Evans tells me Mallory is her biological father.
Hold on, let me see what you said, Skinny Boy. I don't do brotherhood or sisterhood. I call out BS. Either you were humble and respectful or I can't rock with you, period. Like, I'm not excusing ghetto, dusty behavior just because you're a woman. Like, I can't rock with that. I rock with genuine and real people and grateful people. And yes, in this day and age, they are few and far and in between. That's why this life is lonely. But I'd rather be alone than deal with those type of people. But let's continue.
I mean, I feel like I don't have nobody.
Precious Evans says she lost both of her parents at the same time.
I don't have nobody to like lean on.
She says she watched her comforter, her mother, Crystal Evans, go through an ugly divorce with her father for a year.
She was so happy after her divorce. She felt free. You know, we were even talking about doing a party.
However,
Now, let me see if y'all can see this man. I'm not going to try to blow this up. Now, if you look at this man, can y'all see his face? He looked like he been sweet all his life. He looked like his heart pumped Kool-Aid and it's hella sugar in that tank. I'm just being honest. Like, a lot of the times you can look at it and see. And ladies, I'm going to say this. If you look at a man and you had any suspicions that he swings that way, it's just safer to assume that he does. Let's do that.
Out that year, she also says she witnessed disturbing behavior. Crystal posts a cry for help on Facebook last year saying, "Please know if something happens to me, Tom Mallory did it."
Even after the divorce, this man literally texted her, "Not happening."
Precious says her mother was at the Spalding County court.
How you gonna text the man after y'all got divorced? How you gonna text somebody talking about not happening? And then how are you gonna get mad about a woman divorcing you and you don't even want her? You like men, which leads me to believe that maybe he was probably financially dependent on her or something like that, because that makes no sense. You would think he'd feel like he's free to go live his life. You know, I don't know.
House for a hearing connected to their separation Friday afternoon.
The judge did issue a warrant. Instead of the judge taking him in right then and there, the judge said that he could turn himself in Monday night.
In a lengthy Facebook post, Sheriff Daryl Dix says Crystal walked out of the courthouse to her car where Mallory met her, shooting her multiple times from the window. Mallory did not stop for police and eventually shot himself. He's alive, but Evans is not, which Precious believes could have been prevented.
My mom literally called the sheriff.
Yes, I feel like that, like some way, somehow, this is absolutely preventable. And it's crazy that women have to take it to extremes just to like, I remember one time, y'all, I was coming home from work and this dude followed me to my house. And I didn't even notice till like we got like on my street. So I called my boyfriend at the time. He had just left and I was like, "Hey, somebody's following me." I'm telling him where I'm at. I hung up the phone with him and I called the DeSoto Police Department in Texas. I'm putting him on blast. It's right outside of Dallas. And I was like, "Hey, somebody's following me. And I'm on the way there. Can y'all be outside when I get to the police station, please?" Right? And I stayed on the phone with them the whole time. Then by this time, my boyfriend gets behind the dude. So we pull into the parking lot at the police station. Mind you, they had 10 minutes to get it together. Y'all, I sat in my car for 5 minutes and called the police, called the station back, like, "Why are y'all not outside?" Y'all, they took their sweet time coming out. We waited in that parking lot for 5 minutes. In that time, the man followed me. This is how messed up he was, because he was drunk and high and everything. He followed me and sat there and waited for the police to come out. Men are calling women masculine and women are calling men sassy and gay, not realizing that the government is pushing chemicals in our food that is compromising our DNA. Yes, that is true. They're putting a lot of estrogen in the food. Hence why a lot of these men are out here acting masculine and they're swinging that way. I think the chemical is called estrozine. I'm going to have to look into that. But I get to the police finally come out after 5 minutes. They come talk to the dude. The dude is saying, "Oh, I'm his cousin. We was meeting up for Domino's. I don't even know this man." So I'm like, "That's not true." So I'm asking him for the man's name. They won't give me his name because they want to protect his privacy. Mind you, this man has followed me to my street, so he kind of knows what vicinity I live in. So they take him to jail. They book him, but they don't book him for following me home because they said it's not illegal to follow somebody home. They said that's not illegal, which is crazy. And they booked him because he had other warrants. So that's why they booked him and they ended up letting him go. I came back to the police station the next day trying to get a name just so I could know in a picture or something, just so I could know what to look for. They protected him more than they protect me. They would not give him any information on him. They said it was against the law and it was against his privacy and confidentiality, even though I was the one that got followed home. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so hard as a woman. Once you come across somebody crazy, and if they want you unalived or they want to do harm to you, the law is not going to do anything to protect you. It has to get to the point where, y'all know in the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez and her ex-husband, like, you literally got to move with the mentality of, I got to get this man before he gets me. And even then, they might put you in jail for trying to protect yourself against the crazy. So there's really no recourse for women out here, to be honest. It's really sad.
The sheriff department the day before because he was stalking her and they did nothing. Had they had someone walked out with her, like, her friend asked, she would still be here.
Dix denies this.
And I don't even know that. Like, so they're saying, she asked for an escort. The friend asked for an escort. They didn't provide an escort. I personally would have waited until I got an police escort. But if the man is doing a drive-by shooting, I don't even know if that would have been prevented, because at this time he's ready to take his life. He took his own life. So who's to say that he wouldn't have unalived the police officer walking out with her too? Like, it's getting crazy out here.
He says surveillance video shows Crystal never asked for an escort. His office also confirms there have been several domestic violence calls to the Mallory household. Dick says sometimes the violence was mutual and there were no witnesses to identify the aggressor. Dick says, quote,
and that's another thing as a woman, if you protect yourself, and I saw Diddy trying to put this on Cassie. This is what these men who are violent do. They will push you and push you and push you until you get to the point where you're committing what's called reactive abuse. You might hit them back or something like that. So once you start defending yourself, then all of a sudden they start painting this picture and this narrative that it is a mutual when it is not. And I do understand that there are some cases, and I have seen them. I've known these women. I've had talks with these women. There are cases where the women are putting their hands on these men first, and they are the aggressor. I've had to talk to women who have found out that their man was cheating on them, so they laid hands on them. And as a woman, I always tell them, like, you in the wrong. If the police would have showed up, you would have went to jail. Keep your hands off these men, right? Just leave. Just leave. I don't understand. But at the same time, I do know that there are a lot of the times, more times than not, it just be the women getting tired. So they're going to throw hands too, since you want to put hands on me. So, I mean, when you're not there, it's hard to say, but that's why it's just best to just leave at the first sign of this type of trouble, to just go on about your business.
Improvements need to be made to the law. Yes, they do. Maybe it wasn't a deputy or my agency that failed. Maybe it was the law itself. And since she can't get her mom back, Precious will honor her life by fighting for justice with no sympathy for her father.
Not once did you offer your condolences, sympathy, or anything for my mom. That post was to clean his face. to clear his name.
Precious says she's going back.
And honestly and truly, this is what y'all have to understand about the law. And I'm not saying that it's right. They see so many cases and instances of DV that they're like, okay, well, they just get numb to it. After a while, it's the same story, different face. And then on top of that, their hands are tied. So you have, if you're going to be on that force for a long period of time and not be mentally messed up, you have to be numb to a degree, because again, the police don't make the laws. Their job is to carry the law out. Their job is to enforce the law. Now, you know, a lot of times they're not doing what they're supposed to do, but in these type of cases, like the deputy was saying, this is a failure on the part of the law, right? So a lot of the times, yeah, they don't have empathy. They've seen it so many times. I have to understand, they've seen so many times where they went to break up a DV situation and the woman just went right back to a man. So after a while, they have a bias. After a while, they're tired of it. After a while, they're numb and they don't feel any of it at all, right? Because they've seen these things play out so many times. I'm not defending them. I'm just painting the real picture of what goes on in this life.
Back to the courthouse to rally for justice Wednesday and plans to hold a vigil for her mother on Thursday.
Yeah, such a heartbreaking story there, Teresa. Thank you.
Oh my God. Have you heard this story?
It's really sad. And again, they were together for some years. The daughter looks like she was grown. So they look like they might have been together for at least 20 years. No disrespect, but Caucasians have been stalking and abusing. Can I say that word? I need to review the community standards again. They're women for ages. That's why the laws are now lenient on stalkers and DV. Yes, and that especially like police officers, a lot of them are the worst about that. Now it's leaking over into the melanated. Now, okay, I'm gonna push back on that, skinny boy, because just in my experience coming where I'm from, being where I'm from, women of color and black women been having stuff like this happen to them for a long time. So I don't think it's like a leak over. It's just, let me tell you the difference. When I was growing up, women were taught not to call the police on their man. Like, everybody was going to shame you if you were a black woman and you called the police on you. I remember like a pick-me, this is some real pick-meism. Like, selling point was, y'all are dating, you know, these Caucasian women, but she gonna call the police on you. Like a sister gonna hold it down. She not gonna call you the police on you, which I don't understand how that was supposed to benefit black women. So we supposed to be quiet and not do anything when a man puts their hands on us. But I mean, I know several women, older women in the black community who have grown up getting hands and feet laid on them. They are trying to legalize underage smegs. They are trying to legalize pedo behavior and make it a mental health issue instead of a crime. I've seen that as well. Yes, there is a community about it. They're calling these people minor attracted people. So yes, as far as like who is trying to push this legally, that's definitely something that we're seeing on the Caucasian side. But as far as who is participating in this type of behavior, that's people of all races, and that's people of all races in mass. So I don't feel like that's something that we should like put on one race or put on one community, because if you look at the stats, that's happening in mass and everywhere. And I don't want a community or melanated people to delude themselves into thinking our men don't do this, and they turn a blind eye, or they put themselves in situations where this is now happening to their sons and daughters because they've let their guard down. No, you need to be on guard, and you need to know that doesn't have a look, and that can happen in any community. But I do agree with you, skinny boy, as far as the law and the legislation and the legality of it all, they're tripping. That's not happening in mass in our communities where we are trying to push this to the forefront legally and give protections to these kind of people. Okay, guys, so I've been on here for about an hour. Skinny Boy and D Mally, thank y'all for coming up. That's really all I had to say. I'm going to go live again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. It probably around 3. If not around 3, it'll be around this time. I'll try to post it as early as possible. Again, guys, if you're just catching in and tuning into my channel, my name is Mariah Sincere, aka Thepassportsis on TikTok. If you are into travel, I have my travel link in the bottom. So if you want to book your own travel, you can do it through my link. If you would like me to book travel for you, you can email me at thepassportsis@gmail.com. Also, I do one-on-one coaching for any person who is trying to radically transform their life. I've done it myself at the beginning of the year. I was in the United States. I decided I wanted to move to Colombia in 6 months, created a plan, and executed it to the fullest. I can help you transform your life too. Also, if you want to do any type of one-on-one coaching, or you need help planning a trip, like me personally planning it and creating the itinerary, hit me up at thepassportsis@gmail.com. And remember to hit that like button so that people can see my video and catch the replay. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Skinny Boy says, make sure to make me a moderator so I can drop the Nelly link. I'm going to go ahead and do that as soon as I get off. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful evening.